time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Mealy as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Here we go. SEC Media Days, kickoff events, downtown Nashville. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here. We are joined in this Auburn segment by Auburn legend, Takeo Spikes. And this segment is brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedic. Their 19 fellowship-trained, board-certified surgeons offer a broad range of specialties, including sports medicine, total joint replacement, spine, and everything in between. Houston is the official medical provider of the Auburn Tigers and proudly serves the greater Nashville area and Middle Tennessee region with 8 locations. Visit them online at tn.houston.com or call 615-342-6300. Takeo, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Outstanding to be here today. I was on the struggle bus this morning.
You and just look outside. How many were?
I think there were plenty of seats on that struggle bus because we were on it as well.
Listen, man, the weather, the rain came in, and they got the big floor-to-ceiling windows. So you just take all of it in. But we here now, though, gents. We're here to talk about some good ball.
Absolutely. And, you know, your alma mater, obviously in a little bit of a transition right now with the coaching change and that kind of thing. You know, what do you see in year one with Hugh Freeze? And as an alumnus, what are your concerns, I guess?
What do I see? I see a rebuilding period. I think when you look at the roster, and Hugh Freeze stated it clearly himself, we're not where we need to be in order to compete with the upper echelon of the SEC, meaning Alabama, meaning now LSU, meaning, of course, 2-time national champs UGA. So he went inside of the portal, and rightfully so, and tried to address some of the needs, address as many as he possibly could. And I think that the good thing that I really appreciate about what he's done thus far is bringing competition back within every room. So guys are not comfortable. And I'm not saying that was the reason why guys didn't perform. But what I am saying, over the past 7 years, we haven't had a slew of guys to where guys can go into camp and compete. And guys were pretty much anointed as the starter. And, you know, sometimes if you don't have the right mindset, that breeds complacency. So I think we'll get the best out of all of the guys, especially in the quarterback room.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that, because I mean, Hugh Freeze comes in with a reputation as a quarterback guy.
Yeah.
What do you see there?
I like to look at him as a quarterback guy, but I also look at Hugh Freeze as a player developer, and that's something that we've been in need in that quarterback room. Robbie Ashford. I thought it was interesting yesterday. Hugh Freeze said, out of all of the athletes that he's been around, Robbie Ashford is the best athlete that he's ever seen. And that speaks volumes, knowing the type of athletes that he's been around. And I think just understanding and knowing where we were deficient last year with Robbie coming in, only having 50% completion rate and ranking in the bottom tier, not just in the SEC, but in the nation when it comes to pass efficiency. We have to be able to upgrade that. So I appreciate the fact that him going out to create competition by going to get Michigan State transfer Peyton Thorne to bring in the mix. And so I think it's going to be good. And what I've been hearing is Robbie has been playing his butt off, and he's been working. And so I think now, even though Peyton came in late, I think this is going to be an exciting training camp to be able to breed some production in that room.
Takeo Spikes here joining us. He's on SEC Network and all kinds of big stuff. And Takeo, you have got to get out of here. You've got a jam-packed schedule, and we appreciate you taking the few minutes that you had with us, and we look forward to seeing you on SEC Network and talking a little ball all the time. Fantastic career. Thank you for taking time with us, and we look forward to the Auburn Tigers.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, that was as much as we could get of Takeo, but
Yeah.
any bit of Takeo.
Yeah, a little of Takeo is better than none.
And we'll
So-
take it.
So we'll take that.
So what we will do is also take a break.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what he just said.
Right.
Robbie Ashford, Peyton Thorne, quarterback room. What about that defense? Let's get into it. We'll do that right after we take a 30-second break here on Main Street Sports Day's exclusive coverage of SEC football. Media Days kickoff from the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville.
Pain keep you from doing the things you love. With our world-class physicians, Houston Clinic Orthopedics will have you back enjoying your life in no time. From ortho care to physical therapy and more. Visit our website to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Welcome back in. Sorry about that. And man, that was a quick 5 minutes there.
Yeah, you know what? We really had to get in and get out with Takeo quickly, and it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Especially with these ESPN, SEC network personalities, they've got a lot of places to get to in a short period of time, and so you get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit, as you like to say.
I do like to say that, so here's the thing. Auburn is in he said it. He said rebuilding. They're in a precarious situation because they have an opportunity to win some games, but you have to play LSU, Auburn, and Georgia.
Here's a good
every
thing,
year.
though. They have a chance to really ease into year one under Hugh Freeze because they open with UMass, at Cal, and Samford before they open SEC play at Texas A&M in, SEC West action. So, and then they've got Georgia coming in the last weekend in September. So, like I said, they've kind of got an opportunity to warm up a little bit. But, Takeo talked about the quarterback situation. He talked about Robbie Ashford. Another guy of some local interest that's in that quarterback room is former Lipscomb Academy quarterback Hank Brown.
Well, that's right. He transferred in from Cincinnati.
No. That's a different one.
No, that's you're right.
Yeah, that's a different one. But and then again, you had Peyton Thorne transfer in from Michigan State and Holden Geriner. Yeah,
Sure.
a former. He was a 4-star guy out of high school. Played
Wow.
one snap. So there is some talent in the room. You and I talked about Robbie Ashford particularly. You kind of feel like, just from an experience standpoint, he's going to be QB1 early on. Peyton Thorne transferred for a reason.
Yeah, you can't discount a guy who was recruited out of the portal, because guys don't go places out of the portal they don't think they can play.
But
That's why you're transferring in the first place.
But they don't go into the portal typically if they can play either.
Sure. I mean, depending on where you're at. I mean, there's obviously in Michigan State, I don't know where is Michigan State and Auburn kind of even on the scale of where they sit in their conference right now? I would think so.
It's a good question.
So, I mean, is it 6 of one, half a dozen of another if you're Peyton Thorne?
Yeah.
I don't know what the Michigan State quarterback room is like. Joe Rexroad's not walking around, so I can't ask him.
Well, now, to be fair, I may have mischaracterized Peyton a little bit, because looking here, set single season records for total yards, total touchdowns, and passing touchdowns. Ranked 5th in career touchdowns, 5th in career total yards, 4th in career passing touchdowns, and 3rd in single season passing yards. So
that seems good.
He was more productive than I realized at Michigan State.
Okay, so this is a guy that, I mean, so now is Robbie Ashford the guy? He is going in, obviously.
You think so?
But Robbie wasn't the guy last year. He became the guy, and he certainly got better throwing the ball as the year progressed.
But I think the calling card with Ashford, as Takeo Spike said, is his athleticism. The best athlete Hugh Freeze has ever been around. That covers a lot of ground,
including Malik Willis.
Hey, right. That was exactly what I thought when he said that. I'm like, wait a minute.
This guy coached Malik Willis. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Well,
but hey, he said it.
This morning, Hugh Freeze spoke, obviously, on the podium here at SEC Media Days. As time passes, things tend to settle back in and you work through. I tell people all the time, I think that one of the greatest judges of people, and our players included, and the people I come in contact with, are when you experience disappointment, failure, whether it was of your own doing or whether it was circumstances that come into your life. Those are tough circumstances, but how a person responds to those and reacts to those probably tells you more about them than the successes do. So, coming back to the SEC after some time at Liberty, he's paid his dues, apparently, or at least Auburn felt like he had.
That's all that matters.
And so he's got, like I said, he's got a job. He's got UMass and Cal, which you don't feel like are issues. Samford can be tough only because their offense is just disgusting.
Well,
as you know,
and they're going to come in there with a chip on their shoulder, and if you're not ready to match their intensity early on, you might find yourself in an uncomfortable position at some point during the course of that game.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville State gave them all they wanted for 4 quarters and overtime. So you never know what you're going to get out of those FCS teams. You said Texas A&M, and then they get Georgia. At least they get Georgia at home before getting an off week and then going down to Baton Rouge. But you got 3 wins there, you feel like, to start the year. Texas A&M you don't think is you're probably going to College Station and not going to have a good time. Ole Miss at home and Mississippi State you feel like are winnable games. You also feel like Vanderbilt is a toss-up winnable game.
Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Vanderbilt also feel like those are winnable games.
No, absolutely. I think they're all 3 toss-ups. Yeah. And then you've got Arkansas. If you can stop KJ Jefferson, good luck. And then
the running back.
Yeah. Arkansas's offense is really, really good.
Yeah.
Don't discount anything that they do. And this Auburn defense wasn't very good last year, and I don't think they got much better.
And, that's the thing for all of the talk about Hugh Freeze, offensive genius, that kind of thing. That may be where Auburn really needs to get better quicker, is on defense.
Now, they do have 20 transfers in the portal. They have from
on
the
defense?
Portal. No, not all.
Okay.
They have the number 2 transfer class in the country. Last year, they ranked 12th among points allowed and 9th in yards allowed in the SEC.
14 teams.
Austin Keys, linebacker, coming in from Ole Miss. Edge rusher Elijah McAllister coming in from Vanderbilt. Justin Rogers, defensive lineman from Kentucky. They just went to SEC schools and got everybody. Edge rusher Jalen McLeod from Appalachian State and linebacker Larry Nixon III from North Texas. Those are 5 guys that could make a big impact on this defense, but they're going to have to make immediate impacts for this team to be successful.
And here's how much they think of Elijah McAllister. He's here.
Yeah, they brought him to Nashville.
Right.
They were like, hey, man, you want to go back for a minute? So I'm interested. I think Auburn is going to be a fringe bowl eligible team. I think the Birmingham Bowl is again in play for the Tigers.
And, in year 1 with a new coach, you would hope that Auburn fans are realistic enough to take that and go with it.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes down.
We will, in fact. This has been exclusive coverage from the SEC Football Media Days kickoff event here at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. Auburn's brought to you by our friends at Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Their 19 fellowship-trained, board-certified surgeons offer a broad range of specialties, including sports medicine, total joint replacement, spine, and everything in between. Houston's the official medical provider of the Auburn Tigers and proudly serves the greater Nashville area and Middle Tennessee region with 8 convenient locations. You can visit them online at tn.houston.com or call 615-342-6300. We're going to get out of here. More from SEC Media Days. Keep it on at @MS_sports today for exclusive coverage on these team segments and also at 2 o'clock for Main Street Sports Today. Until then, we'll see you later today.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. With our world-class physicians, Houston Clinic Orthopedics will have you back enjoying your life in no time. From ortho care to physical therapy and more. Visit our website to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7. Service, call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Did you know that up to 80% of us will experience back or neck pain during our lifetime? Many of you are offered surgery or addictive pain pills to relieve your chronic pain. At the Dr. Gill's Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief, we have been leading the way to better health, naturally, and have helped tens of thousands of people right here in Middle Tennessee for the past 30 years.
I came to Dr. Gill about 10 years ago after my local doctors recommended surgery. I knew about Dr. Gill and wanted to see if he could help me. 10 years later, I am pain-free, no surgery, and no pain pills.
Surgery is scary, and over 40% of all back surgeries fail, creating a cycle of surgery and pills. There is a safer solution to your chronic pain. Make Make the call to the Dr. Gill Center for Back Neck Chronic Pain Relief today and get your life back. This office visit is normally $299, but call today and receive your initial consultation, report of finding for just $49. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Call 615-768-8743. That's 615-768-8743.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Neely as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Welcome in to this special edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by our friends at Complete Service Heat and Air on this Tuesday edition of SEC Media Days, live from the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. Glad to have you guys with us and excited about our next segment as we preview the Georgia Bulldogs. But before we do that, Mo's going to tell us about some friends of ours who are making this possible.
Absolutely. Our coverage of the Georgia Bulldogs from SEC Media Days is being brought to you by American Pride Fitness and Boxing Academy. They teach the scientific foundations of boxing and fitness. Not everyone wants to compete. Not everyone wants to look like a model, but everyone is looking for something, a change, a challenge, or a home. Call American Pride Fitness and Boxing Academy today at 931-896-2659.
Joining us on this segment is former Georgia superstar, quarterback, and I'm pretty sure you played some indoor ball.
Yeah.
You played,
I played in the UFL League in Omaha.
Okay.
After I left the Falcons for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So DJ Shockley joins us now, covering the Georgia Bulldogs with 680 The Fan. Is that correct?
So it's with Fox, but I'm also I do the sideline radio for him as well for the Georgia broadcast. Yeah.
There you go.
That was that the Omaha Nighthawks?
Omaha Nighthawks, you got
was
it right.
Maurice Claret there
Maurice
at that time?
Claret,
wow.
Maurice Claret actually, when he left prison, came to our team, and he was my roommate. So I've known Maurice since then, real good friend of mine, and still good friends to this day.
No stories there, huh?
Nothing. Quite
a boring existence for the two of you guys, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it was good, man. It was obviously he was a different Maurice Claret than when he went in. He had a different perspective on life, and so that's the Maurice I know, not the pre-time Maurice.
One of my favorite quotes I read on his Twitter feed. It's been probably 10 years or so ago now. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future.
Yeah, absolutely. So glad to be one of his friends. So, and he's doing great things now with his life. So you love it.
That's fantastic. DJ, when the concerns about the team that you're covering are who's going to be your kicker and who's going to be your holder, it kind of makes a statement about where you're at, doesn't it?
Yeah, Kirby's done such a great job of recruiting over the past, umpteen years he's been there, whatever it is, and he does a great job of building these kids up to a point where they're in a position where eventually they're going to play, but eventually the guys behind them are going to be just as good. And he's done such a good job of building this program to that point, and it's been, it's been documented. That's the way Saban has done it for years. And he came from that tree, and obviously he's built his program along that same lines, and he's continued to do that now. And it's a reason why, they're back-to-back national champs, and the reason why they continue to put so many guys in the NFL because of the way he runs his program. And when you say, hey, you only got a couple things that need to be talked about, then I guess you're doing things the right way.
Two-time defending national champs. Is it harder to get there or to stay there?
I think a little bit of both, to be honest. I mean, Georgia, before you won it 2 years ago, been 40 years. So it had been a while since you got there. And now that you've won it, and we heard last year Kirby talked about being the 100, it's hard to stay there. And he talked about it today, about the complacency that he tries to fight with his team, because there's going to be so many people on the outside, going to be even family members patting you on your back, telling you how good you are. You just went 15-0. And there are a lot of guys who were on that team last year that are going to be on this team this year. So I think the biggest thing he fights is complacency with staying where they are, but also he always talks about there's so many ways they can get better. There's so many things that they can do better in game that can make them even a better program. So I think he continues to drive that piece home, that we're still a long way away. We can get a lot better, which is scary.
I thought it was pretty telling, too, DJ, that he went outside the box in terms of motivation for his team this year. He said, hey, we're not even looking at the United States. We're looking at the international rugby scene. I didn't know we were going to get a rugby reference in media days, but Kirby referenced the New Zealand All Blacks, who are an elite squad for a number of hundreds of years. I thought that spoke volumes about that complacency factor that you just mentioned.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's one thing that he continues to do, I think, year in and year out. He tries to keep his messages fresh, and he tries to keep these guys on their toes, because, as we know, 18 to 22-year-old kids, their attention span can be gone really quickly. So he finds ways to motivate them. He finds ways to keep them intrigued. And he's put up so many big things about, this, the black, rugby team that he continues to strive to teach these guys. So it's fun to watch the message being received. We got another great guy in, my man Stinchcomb. But yeah, it's a message that continues to go down that line, and he finds ways to keep these guys involved and intrigued on what's next. And every year we come here, it seems like he has a different slogan, a mantra that they live by. And like you said, it's interesting. You're outside the box rugby. I'm sure a lot of those kids probably didn't even know what rugby was. And now, they got a great insight into what it takes to be champions and, what it takes to being a rugby player.
One other quick thing, I also was very impressed, his commitment to character. He really bragged and boasted on, especially the three. I know there's obviously more than three on the squad, but the three that are here, he really spoke about their background, where they've developed as a young man. And also we got an art and design major on the squad that's roaming the hallways here for the Bulldogs. I thought it was very telling that he really hammered home that compassion factor as well.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why they've been successful too, because he spoke about in his early years, all he cared about was, not even say all he cared about, but it was ball and making sure these guys were playing at a high level. But then now it's about these kids will play a little bit harder for you if I know their why. And he continues to go above and beyond to try to figure out what goes on in these kids' lives. What are they doing off the field? And at the end of the day, with all the things that are happening off the field, he continues to say, hey, I don't see a lot of guys leaving Georgia. I don't see, kids saying they're not coming to Georgia because the culture's not there or because of the players that are there. The culture is intact, and you can tell by how many guys like Kirby talked about the retention rate of Georgia now.
DJ Shockley, former Georgia quarterback, now sideline reporter for Georgia football. And DJ, outgoing Todd Monken, incoming Mike Bobo.
Yeah.
There are some teams in the SEC, some programs who will tell you that's a terrible hire for offensive coordinator. What makes him good for Georgia?
I think the one thing is he's been around this league. He's been a head coach. He's coached some of the best quarterbacks, that came through the University of Georgia. But you love the fact that he was actually around this program last year. He was coaching some of the tight ends. He helped Todd Monken, put together game plans last year. So he understands the personnel that's already there. And I think just the maturity of him having gone off and maybe not having that much success in other places, that he learned from those instances and those stops, that gives him opportunity to come back and be successful. And he was my offensive coordinator. He's my quarterback coach, so I know him inside and out. And one thing is whoever steps on that field for Mike Bobo, they're going to be the most prepared players out there. And You're going to be breaking in new quarterbacks this year with Stetson Bennett gone. It's one of those instances where you know the guy running the show is going to make sure those guys are prepared and ready to go. And being around the team, not much is going to change with how they go about play calling.
Kind of stole some of my thunder there because you're breaking in a new offensive coordinator. You're breaking in a new quarterback.
Yeah.
This will be the first time since this back-to-back championship run started that someone other than number 13 will be under center. Yeah, what do you feel like that looks like at quarterback?
This is a talented group. I mean, all three of the guys who are battling for this spot are guys who came in or highly recruited. And knowing these guys the way I do, I'm on the sideline with them every week. And every week I'm asking them questions about it, what's going on in the game, what's happening on this play. And they all can recite it, come back to me. And the one thing I know about Carson Beck is he was ready for this opportunity last year because he thought Stetson was going to leave after the national championship run in that first year. And then he decided to come back. But he mentally was ready and prepared to go for this job. He's a strong arm passer, can stand in there, knows the system inside and out. Brock Vandagriff is a more athletic kid. Stockton has a little bit of both. So it's going to be fun to watch how this plays out. But I think Carson Beck has all the tools, and that won't be the reason why Georgia won't play in the national championship if it comes to that.
DJ Shockley joining us here. DJ, you and I share a middle name. I won't tell everybody what that is. They can wiki it if they want to, but we got a little connection there.
I like it.
We appreciate you taking some time with us today, man. We're looking forward to Georgia and quest for a three-peat. It hasn't been done in 60 years-ish, 50, 60 years, so should be an interesting year. And, of course, the SEC is a tough place to try and do it.
No doubt about it.
But iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely, and that's why kids come to play in the SEC because you're going to play against the best. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks,
Thank you, DJ.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll break down that schedule and talk a little bit about what we expect from the Georgia Bulldogs right here on Main Street Sports Today. Exclusive coverage from SEC Media Days at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. We'll be right back after this.
At American Pride Fitness and Boxing Academy, we're here to help you get in shape and find your inner champion. Our state-of-the-art facility is open 24/7, and our expert coaches are ready to help you become your best version. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced athlete, we welcome everyone to our gym. Make new friends, learn new skills, and become your best self with American Pride. Visit us at 1719 Wilmer Rudolph Boulevard in Clarksville, or check out our website at AmericanPrideFitnessAndBoxingAcademy.com.
We're back here live at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville at SEC Football Media Days. I keep having to look at the sign to make sure that that I read it correctly for some reason. I did this last year just to make
Freudian
sure.
slip if you let it out.
If you don't
being in
read
Atlanta last year,
you have to be careful. But the Georgia Bulldogs won't have to be too careful this year because this schedule, thanks to the Southeastern Conference forcing them to ixnay the Oklahoma series, this schedule is pretty favorable in favor of the two-time defending national champions.
with all due respect to UT Martin and Ball State
and UAB,
and the UABs of the world, I'm inclined to agree with you, partner, because we've seen them play Oregon, we've seen them play some high-profile teams. And again, with all due respect to those schools, that is not the case this year. They have a chance to get off to a great start. First real true test, even if you discount South Carolina, is not until late September when Auburn comes to town on September 30th.
When they go to Auburn.
Excuse me. Yes, correct. When they go to Auburn. So for a team that went 15-0, that's the 1-2 in a row. Yeah, the schedule makers were kind to him this year.
That South Carolina game could be
sneaky good.
It could be sneaky good.
Because, again, as we've said so many times on this show, it's a quarterback-driven sport. It's a quarterback-driven league.
They've got one.
And South Carolina's got one. And if you don't believe it, ask UT. Spencer Rattler, for all of his early season struggles last year in his first year at South Carolina, he lit it up against the Volunteers. And I would expect him to ride some of that late season momentum where he was the Spencer Rattler that folks expected him to be from the get into 2023. So, that one could be sneaky good as South Carolina goes between the hedges. But that said, I tend to kind of agree with you. Auburn may be their biggest early challenge.
Yeah, and they go on the road to Auburn, and then of course they'll be in Nashville on October 14th. You got Jacksonville, which is the neutral site game against Florida before they come to Tennessee in their final SEC game of the year, November 18th. And I mean, you look at the schedule, man. They've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 home games.
7 home games and Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
Georgia Tech in Atlanta. So, and you can rest assured that First Bank Stadium is going to have a lot of red and black.
Yeah, they will. Georgia fans will make that as much of a home game as they can.
And so, this is going to be a tough out for anyone trying to take down the 2-time defending champs, because look, you want to talk about being rested and ready when postseason play comes around. I mean, outside of the Tennessee game in Knoxville, I don't think this team is going to be super tested. I mean, yeah, that Auburn and South Carolina game's iffy, but I mean, based on what we know from last year and this year, the toughest game on that schedule is going to be at Neyland Stadium, and that's and it's not close. And that one's late in the year.
And I'll tell you, there are a number of people who fully expect Georgia to go down in that ballgame. I'm not just talking about UT fans either.
Yeah.
I mean, folks that kind of make their money off of knowing that kind of thing.
So and for all that, guys, we just sat down with DJ Shockley not too long ago, and we talked about the quarterback issues, or question marks, I should say.
He kind of put a period on that, didn't
he?
Kind
of ex-nayed that, to say the least. But for a team that maybe has, a few flaws or a few question marks coming in, or as many as you could have for a team coming off 2 national championships, the schedule is so favorable for them, you would think or presume you got a pretty good chance to smooth those out by the time you get to Tennessee late in the year.
You got a chance to answer a lot of those questions before you play some challenging, important games. Because, I mean, it seems like Carson Beck is the guy, but whoever it is has not played.
That's right. And the SEC is not a place you're going to be successful off the top unless you are very, very talented. Now, of course, Alabama, 4 of their 6 national championships came with first-year starting quarterbacks. So it can be done. But this is a lot different SEC than it was back then, too.
Well, but also, though, there's enough around Carson Beck.
Oh, there's plenty.
Because,
including the man. Maybe the best pass-catching tight end we've ever seen in college.
You talk about being surprised at people coming back.
Yeah.
Why is Brock Bowers still playing college football?
Does he have to? Like, is that the question? Is that why?
Well, if he has to, then I guess that explains it. That's about the only thing that makes sense. That kid ought to be, even in this day of NIL, that kid ought to be getting paid. So,
and it was interesting listening to Kirby Smart talk about Brock. Maybe we'll get a chance to run into him over the course of the afternoon here, but he said, good luck getting more than a few words at a time out of this guy. He said he has never seen a more hardworking player that has less to say or wants the least amount of credit, which is crazy to think about. As talented as he is, as elite as he is, he's just a pure out-and-out professional company man and wants to see his teammates get the shine.
Hey, he's gonna let his plan do the talking.
It sure seems that way.
All right. Well, we've had a chance to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. Tell us about American Pride one more time, Mo.
Our coverage of the Georgia Bulldogs from SEC Media Days is being brought to you by American Pride Fitness and Boxing Academy. They teach the scientific foundations of boxing and fitness. Not everyone wants to compete. Not everyone wants to look like a model, but everyone is looking for something, a change, a challenge, or a home. Call American Pride Fitness and Boxing Academy today at 931-896-2659.
Main Street Sports Today is live Monday through Friday, 2 to 4. And make sure that you are tuning in for that. And, of course, more exclusive coverage from SEC Football Media Days right here at the Grand Hyatt in Nashville. We'll talk to you later.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Did you know that up to 80% of us will experience back or neck pain during our lifetime? Many of you are offered surgery or addictive pain pills to relieve your chronic pain. At the Dr. Gill's Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief, we have been leading the way to better health, naturally, and have helped tens of thousands of people right here in Middle Tennessee for the past 30 years.
I came to Dr. Gill about 10 years ago after my local doctors recommended surgery. I knew about Dr. Gill and wanted to see if he could help me. 10 years later, I am pain free, no surgery, and no pain pills.
Surgery is scary, and over 40% of all back surgeries fail, creating a cycle of surgery and pills. There is a safer solution to your chronic pain. Make the call to the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief today and get your life back. This office visit is normally $299, but call today and receive your initial consultation, report of finding for just $49. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Call 615-768-8743. That's 615-768-8743.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Neely as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Welcome back into exclusive SEC Football Media Days coverage here from the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. Talking a little Texas A&M right now as we have TexAgs.com's David Nuno with us, and he's going to be joining us thanks to our friends at All Access Coach Leasing. All Access Coach Leasing provides professional entertainer tour transportation with over 20 years of experience in the entertainment industry and driving for some of the country's most successful tours. All Access has established itself as a premier provider of buses and transportation services. Call 615-230-7400 or visit allaccesscoach.com. David, thanks for taking some time with us.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. I know our schedules were mixed up a little bit, but thanks for having me.
Well, hey, man, this is a shift on the fly event right here. If you're not flexible,
it's a
fluid situation. Without question.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's every coach has told me that exact line, right? It's fluid. The situation's fluid over here.
Well,
2020 kind of did that for everybody.
Yeah.
There may not be a more fluid situation than in College Station, Texas right now, though.
Is that right?
I mean,
I feel
you
good.
tell me.
I feel good. I do. No, I understand the questions, right? Like when you think about A&M is that team that knocks on the door, this is the year, and then they take 2 steps back. I like to do this. The Aggies, Texas A&M hired Jimbo Fisher to be what Kirby Smart is, what Nick Saban is, right? What they think Brian Kelly's going to be for LSU. 2020 was a great year. People forget the years leading up to it were pretty darn good too. I will say, in a vacuum, if you look at it, Jimbo's done exactly what Kevin Sumlin did, and Kevin Sumlin got fired. I think the biggest difference is Jimbo's won big games. Now, Kevin never had a 5-7 season, and I recognize that. But Jimbo is recruiting at a higher level. Jimbo has big wins over Bama, big wins over LSU, something that the Summit was only able to do when he had Johnny Manziel. And I love Kevin, by the way. But I feel good about A&M because it looked like they looked in the mirror. Jimbo himself looked in the mirror and said, all right, there's a problem with the offense. Let's fix that. They also looked at the team culture, and they had all these youngsters that were really running the ship. And that's not how it's supposed to be. You know, when we were all coming up, the veterans, right? To become a legend, you had to learn under the legends. Well, these guys all played as freshmen, which is going to bode well for their future. But some of the guys that didn't work out aren't even at the programs that they went to after. Well, we found out earlier that Smoke Bowie, gone from Georgia. Chris Marshall, gone from Ole Miss. Ish Harris, gone from the University of Houston. These are all guys that played a part in that recruiting class. They're gone. And I'm not saying Ish Harris was a problem. And those other two, good guys overall, but making some bad choices. You get rid of some of the negative vibes in the locker room. You grow up a little bit. You fix your offense. I feel pretty good about where A&M is.
And obviously having 20 returning starters, most likely on both sides of the ball, that certainly seems to help.
If they're good, right?
If they can produce. And a question that I'm curious about, and I didn't keep up with the situation, and you might hopefully shed some light on it. But Walter Nolan, a big kid out of Knoxville, had a lot of buzz, certainly in the Volunteer State here, recruiting-wise. Heading into a big season, is this what can we expect out of him this year, especially because it seems to be like a little rumors potentially of maybe even a transfer in the offseason leading up to this year.
Yeah, look, I think anytime your team loses, there's going to be talks of transferring. But no, I'm not worried about Walter at all. He's actually a classic example of waiting your turn and learning. He played last year. There's no doubt about it. But McKinley Jackson's in the middle of that defense, and he's a stud on the Texas A&M defensive line. I think for Walter, it's all about game experience. When you look at I think the defensive line, like wide receivers, you can have multiple starters, right? You can have so many guys rotating in and out. And I think that's the beauty of what A&M's been able to do from a talent perspective. Now, can that talent, including Walter Nolan, can they step up and stop the run? Something that the A&M defense could not do last year.
David, I guess the elephant in the room with Texas A&M right now is
Bobby Petrino?
How? I mean, how does that work? I mean, you've got a guy who has been a head coach and has been a successful head coach coming onto that staff where, there were rumblings that if somebody would have stroked a check at any point last fall, Jimbo Fisher would be out of there. I mean, how does that mesh, man?
Well, I didn't hear those rumors, at least in College Station. I didn't hear them in College. I heard them outside of College Station. I didn't hear them in College Station. Look, you go 5-7 in the SEC, you're on the hot seat. Doesn't matter who you are,
Doesn't
right?
matter.
Right. So I understand the
As long
hot
as
seat.
you- well, yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Mhm.
But for example, were people saying the same thing when Steve Sarkisian became an offensive coordinator for Nick Saban? Were they saying it about Lane Kiffin? Here's the thing. Bobby Petrino chose to be an offensive coordinator. He was a head coach. He chose to be an offensive coordinator at Texas A&M. He's never had the kind of talent at his disposal that he's going to have at A&M. I also do recognize why there's a question, right? Jimbo doesn't want to give up play calling. What head coach really does in their specialty? Nick Saban still has his hand on defense. Like that's the way it's supposed to be. And I used this equation the other day, and it's probably a stupid one, but follow me here. Youth sports. We entrust our coaches to coach our kids. But don't we coach them at the end of the day? Don't we tell our little Jimmy, like, Jimmy, don't take that first ball, but coach said to. All right. And then you have a talk with coach, right? So at the end of the day, it is what Jimbo Fisher says that's going to matter. But if he allows for some creative offensive play calling with a little bit of input, no, I think we should run here. That's the way they all work. But I think because Jimbo has been he hasn't wanted to say fully, yes, he's the offensive coordinator, like he's going to be calling plays. And he did say it yesterday on Feinbaum. But I think that's why there becomes questions. I'm not saying I'm an optimist. I am saying they fixed their issues. They need to get more creative play calling. Looks like they got it. And they need to get their players in open space. And there's not many people better than Bobby Petrino doing that. For those reasons, I'm optimistic. If we get to week 3 or week 2 against Miami and then week 3 against Auburn and then Arkansas, and it's the same old, then I understand it. But as close as I am to the program, I think it's going to work out. Now, what does that mean? I don't know if that means. I think I don't like to give predictions on the season, at least at this point, because they've burned me the last couple of years the way that as bad as they've been. But they have the ability to be a 10-11 win team. But I think the reality is they're more like a 9-win team. And in the SEC, 9 wins, certainly possible, but difficult, guys. But I mean, does anybody in the West truly scare you? Like LSU's got their flaws, right? Their defense has had some issues. Alabama, it's Nick Saban, so of course it's going to work out. But they got questions at quarterback. They got questions on the defensive side of the ball. There's no Will Anderson and Bryce Young to bail them out. Arkansas, great quarterback, but they got questions on their offensive line, and they gave up a lot of points. So you go down the SEC West, they all have some questions. That's why anybody can win it. But people are leaning on LSU because they're the team that has done it, at least last year, and they got a lot of guys coming back.
Quarterback included. And speaking of quarterbacks, and we're in Nashville, can't not talk about Marcel Reed.
Oh, we love Marcel Reed. And he's going to have to wait his time. He's going to have to wait his time. But I've heard a lot of good buzz about him. But Connor Wegman, to me, is the future of this program and the right now. But what a great young man to have in there. Because, look, in the SEC, quarterbacks get hurt. At Texas A&M, we have seen it multiple years in a row, right? You had Haynes King get hurt a couple years ago. Zach Calzada got hurt, and he had to play because they didn't have really anybody they could go to. This year, A&M's going to have Max, Marcel, and Connor, and I think Connor's going to be ultimately the starting guy. But you better be healthy, and you better learn. And I think having Max Johnson in there, a guy who's been through the wars, is going to help Marcel Reed so much. And, of course, Bobby Petrino, I mean, the guy we were just talking about.
David, I got to ask you, and I hate to invoke the name given all the hype about this year's team, but have you seen a copy yet of the Johnny Manziel doc? And do you know anybody that has seen it? Because that is going to be day one. Got to binge television.
I think it's August 8th. It's coming out. I have not seen it. I was there in our studio when they interviewed our co-owner Billy Lucci. They came, and Billy's going to be prominently shown on it, but he hasn't even seen it. We're super excited about it. It was interesting. I had Josh Pate on our show earlier from Late Night and Late Kick, and one of the things that he said that I think really made sense, he goes, I want to see the Johnny documentary, but I know the Johnny story. There's going to be some new things, but I know it. But the Florida one, I don't know anything about, like, behind the scenes, beyond the Aaron Hernandez and Tim Tebow hype. What else was going on? But when it comes to Johnny, there's a lot. Look, my co-owner, our co-owner, Billy Lucci, he went with Johnny to Vegas. He's been around. Like, he knows all the stories. So I can't wait for the stories that were hush-hush to come out.
I'm pumped for it, which I think is going to me at least, build some excitement for Texas A&M coming into this season. And we're sitting here looking at odds. You know, Vegas says plus 550 to maybe win the West. And I'm with you. This thing seems wide open more than any other year in the West in particular this year.
A&M is one of those boomer bust teams, right? And if they're a bust team, we will be having a conversation, a complete different conversation a year from now, right? but there is a chance for a boom. And I look at 2020, hopefully not as the one-off, but I look at 2020 as an example of what this team could be. I am in the minority. I don't think the offense was the biggest problem. The offense was a problem. You don't score 22.5 points a game in the SEC and expect to win a lot of games. I think the bigger problem was the offensive line and the defensive line, and I'll explain a little bit more. Devon Achane, we all agree here, one of the better running backs in college football last year. In week 1 against Sam Houston State, he rushed for like 56 yards. They couldn't run the ball on Sam Houston State. Yes, at the end of the year, when they were a little bit more healthy, and yes, at the end of the year, when the young players got a little bit more experience, he was able to rush for 215 yards. But there was a huge stretch of that season where Bryce Foster, their center, goes down, and the offensive line, you've got a couple of guys who have never played before out there. They could not keep quarterbacks healthy, right? I mean, Connor got hit, but he was able to play. Max broke down. Haynes broke down. You go through all that, and you can't protect your QB and you can't run the ball, and you got one of the more premier running backs. That's why I think the offense struggled as much as it did. I do think that they need to be more creative play calling. They need to have some better play calling. But when the really good teams, you may know what they're going to do. You may know Alabama's going to go for it on 3rd and 1. It doesn't matter. They're going to execute, and they're going to get it done. And that's where I think A&M really struggled the most last year.
David Nuno of TexAgs.com joining us here on Main Street Sports Today. Exclusive coverage from the SEC Football Media Days kickoff event here at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. David, you don't like to give predictions, so we won't make you.
Okay.
But we certainly appreciate you taking time with us today. We're going to make some predictions when you get out of here, though. You don't listen and find
All right,
out.
no problem.
Just
no, tell me. What do you guys think?
Well, honestly, as we're looking through this schedule, you've got some solid options at home. You've got Alabama at home. You get Auburn at home. Of course, Texas A&M is a neutral site venue. You get South Carolina at home. But you got to go to LSU.
Yep.
And you got to go to Neyland Stadium.
Yep. So
they're 2 tough games to win.
Yeah.
When you're trying to win the West.
Absolutely. All right. And I'm not predicting that they're going to win the West.
No.
But let's go through it. They week 2 they go to Miami.
I think that's easily a winnable game.
I think
Tennessee State did it.
I think it's going to be hard, but they should win that game. Okay.
Sure.
You've got Auburn right after that, right?
Well, La Monroe.
Yeah. So Auburn right after that?
Right, exactly.
Well, after Appalachian State, who knows? But, all right, so the Auburn game, let's just go straight to that one. Hugh Freeze is good for a win every year against a team that isn't expecting, right? And they have so many new transfers coming in, a bunch of 4-stars. They're a team that I cannot predict, but I cannot accept year 6 of Jimbo Fisher at home against a team that you should beat, regardless, losing that game.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep.
So I would say, as of today, I'd predict A&M to win that game.
I think A&M wins the game.
Okay.
It's at home. I think that's the big deal there.
Neutral site game against Arkansas. They got the quarterback, KJ Jefferson, right? A&M has destroyed that series. It's been all coming down to the last second. And last year we got lucky that Arkansas missed a field goal. But I think 10 out of 11 has gone A&M's way. So until they start beating A&M, I'm going to take that one. By the way, KJ Jefferson is awesome, but they have a new offensive line. Ricky Stromberg's no longer there.
Oh, it's going to be tough.
So, but okay. And this is the crucial stretch of the year, right? And then you got Bama not too far after that. You got Tennessee.
Oh, it's Bama. It's Bama the next week. You've got Bama, Arkansas, then Bama,
then Tennessee,
and then you get a week off. Thank goodness.
Right. Here's where I think the season rests. We talked about that Arkansas-Auburn swing. Look, the Tennessee-Alabama stretch, it doesn't matter what team you are in the country. Those are going to be 2 very difficult games. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be LSU. Those back-to-back games are going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Although Jimbo has beaten Saban at home, and last year they call a better play. They beat him 2 years in a row.
I agree.
So I say that. To me, it's the Mississippi games. Mississippi schools have dominated A&M the last 2 years. They've won both of those both years. Right? You've got to win those games. You got to win the Auburn-Arkansas game. If you do that, you are in position the last week of the season against LSU, potentially. You're in position. A lot of other business. And we know this about the SEC. Every week is a grind, and the team you're not looking out for is looking for you. Am I optimistic, or am I just realistic?
No, you're realistic.
All right.
No, and I'm sitting here saying if you give me 5 plus 550, 5 1.5 chances for A&M with 20 returning starters to win the West, I see some good value there. And Vegas is a heck of a lot better than I am at kind of predicting these things. So I kind of side with you, Dave.
Well, look, I am like most A&M fans. You got to prove it to me to believe it, right? But I'll say it for the third time on this show. 2020 was not that long ago, and the recipe of that team was a strong offensive line and a strong defensive line. What has A&M done great recruiting-wise? Offensive line and defensive line. Now, the development becomes a question, and they've got to prove that those guys have developed this year. But if those positions develop the way we think they should, if you follow a chart over a 2 or 3 year period, if those guys are going in that direction, there's no reason not to believe that this team can win 9-10 games.
I 100% agree with you. I
There you
absolutely believe. Texas A&M coverage brought to you by All Access Coach Leasing. They provide professional entertainer tour transportation with over 20 years of experience in the entertainment industry and driving for some of the country's most successful tours. All Access has established itself as a premier provider of buses and transportation service. Call 615-230-7400 or visit allaccesscoach.com. David Nuno, TexAgs.com. David, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing those 9 or 10 wins.
You know what? I'm hoping to see 12 wins. How about that?
Yep.
Let's go.
There you go.
If we're hoping.
No.
We're not hoping for
No. We're not hoping for 12.
Neyland Stadium is going to be a hard no for me.
Okay.
But other than that,
I've never been. I'm looking forward to going this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll tell you, my question about Tennessee, can Joe Milton be Hendon Hooker, right? Because Hendon Hooker was that good.
Yeah.
And can the defense take a step in the right direction? Those two questions will determine, I think it doesn't matter what kind of team you have in Tennessee. It's always hard to play in Neyland Stadium. But if Joe Milton can take a big step this year, and I know he was good in limited time last year, and if the defense takes a step, then yes, I think we're having a different conversation.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to get out of here on Texas A&M. We'll come back again Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m., Main Street Sports Today, all week long here from the Grand Hyatt. Make sure to check it out. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate David Nuno, and we'll be back with more
Thanks, guys.
A little bit later.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Complete Service Heat and Air is a trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's time for Main Street Media Television's exclusive coverage of SEC Media Days, driven by Complete Service Heat and Air, your trusted provider of top-notch heating and cooling solutions, dedicated to ensuring optimal comfort and efficiency for residential and commercial spaces. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air in the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Now, let's go to downtown Nashville and join Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, and Wade Neely as they broadcast from the Grand Hyatt.
Welcome into the exclusive coverage of SEC Football Media Days kickoff event here at the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. This is Main Street Sports Today. I'm Chris Yao, Mo Patton, Wade Neely, Justin Kulik making the cameo in the background back there and punching all the buttons. Appreciate him doing that. And, of course, our fantastic cameraman, Alan McCall, right behind me as well. Right now we are joined by Mississippi State's Woody Marks, the running back out of Atlanta. We're going to talk to him in just a minute about the Bulldogs and their upcoming season. But first, we're going to tell you that our Mississippi State Bulldogs segment from SEC Media Days is brought to you by Jeff Grimes and Associates in Clarksville.
In Clarksville and throughout Middle Tennessee, Jeff Grimes and Associates have successfully represented thousands of clients in criminal and family law matters. With over 40 years of combined office experience, Jeff Grimes and Associates has the tools and resources to fight for you in getting the best results possible. So whether you're facing a criminal case or a difficult family matter, we will walk with you every step of the way, making sure your litigation process is as effortless as possible. Don't hesitate. Call Jeff Grimes and Associates today at 931-906-0088 for a free consultation on how we can protect your rights and protect your family.
Thanks for joining us, Woody. We appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Woody, obviously Mississippi State has gone through some transition from last season to this year with the tragic loss of Mike Leach and Zach Arnett taking over at the top of that program. What's the mood been like for you guys in terms of getting ready for this season from that perspective?
We just been having the same mindset that Coach Leach had. We're going to go out there and be the best that we can, play the next play, and just living by what he's set on the table for us. And I think Coach Arnett have inputted somewhat into his coaching style as being the head coach.
I got to ask you, I've been asking all of our student athletes this. Individually, what were some things that you specifically wanted to take on this summer, and where do you stand with those? What were you specifically working on this offseason?
I've been working on every part of my body, from hamstring to trying to make everything just stay healthy throughout this summer and fall camp. That's part of playing a big part of me, just doing everything I can to stay healthy. And with football, I've been working on pass blocking and just getting my steps right and everything.
Now, you're working on pass blocking, but we know you can be a little slippery out of the backfield, too. I'm assuming the hands are still pretty tight after this offseason?
Yeah, they pretty good. They still good, yeah.
I love to hear that. And did you get any time for you with friends and family this offseason as well?
Yeah. I hung out with some of my teammates. We went down to Florida. We had for 4th of July. We did some good things down there. We worked out and came back ready to work.
This show, and matter of fact, our show today on Top 5 Tuesday, we'll talk about most iconic uniforms in all of sports. But you guys are putting out some new threads. What was it like when you saw what the new uniforms were going to look like?
When I saw them, I liked them. I liked the stripe. I think everybody coming out with the stripe on the side, so I liked that. And then it's just the state script sign on the helmet.
You like that?
Yeah, it sticks out to me.
So you like that better than the block M and the state across it then?
Probably just a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder on that one.
Sorry.
I had that called up.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
You probably
too
did
fresh.
see it.
One of
actually,
us three was going to bring it up because those are some slick threads to say the least part.
We saw the helmet yesterday, last night at the media after hours event. They had the new helmet there, and I love it. I think that the script state is really cool. It's unique, and when you're talking about Mississippi State, I feel like kind of that old school look really fits, and I love it.
Yeah.
As you look at the SEC West this year, Woody, Alabama may be a little bit. They may not be as close to what Alabama typically is this year as they have been. It just looks like the West may be a little bit more there for the taking than it has been in previous years. What's that mean in Starkville?
I'll probably say we're really not looking at what other teams got going because we don't know. They haven't played a game, so we don't really know. They don't know what we got going. And really about every year we're trying to take over the SEC West and go to the SEC championship. So that's about every year.
Coming into this season, quarterback seems to be a bit of a there seems to be a little bit more turnover at the starting quarterback position across the league. You guys return a starter. How much does that put y'all ahead of the game, do you think, having Will Rogers coming back?
I think that put us ahead of the game a lot because he's been starting for 3 years, played in the SEC. He knows what it takes to win. And then plus we have 4 of our starting offensive linemen still there. So that plays a big factor in his game and my game. That makes us more better.
That's huge.
Yeah.
4 or 5 returning, and for a guy like you who's played pretty much your entire career. I mean, you've played every year. That's got to be a big deal to be able to know that you're going to be running behind guys that are experienced.
Yeah.
And guys that you've run behind, so you kind of know their little nuances and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah. I think that plays a big factor in just opening up holes. I know what shoulder he like to take on. I know how he want to block him, and we got a good connection. We can talk about it.
Woody, these guys been asking the real easy questions, but I got a real hard and serious one for you here. You're getting ready to take off on the plane, and I'm looking at the photo of you guys swagged out.
Yeah.
I got to ask, amongst the 3 of you guys that are here this week, who thinks they brought the most swag? Because you got the tie. We obviously have seen the custom kicks you guys are rocking. Who won that battle amongst you 3, you think?
I say I won the top, but I like the white shoes that Will got on with the little gray in the middle. I was jealous about that. I liked that. So I think he won the shoes, but I won the top. I won the tie.
You definitely won the tie.
Yeah, ball game.
Absolutely.
Ties are no doubter. And amongst the schools that we've seen, you guys have been the best dressed and the flyest here. So that's good. At least a little mojo heading into the season.
Yeah. When you look good, you play good, right?
Look good, you play good.
There you go.
Yeah.
And as Dion said, when you play good, they pay good.
Yeah.
So
Woody Marks joining us here from Mississippi State, and Woody, looking forward to your guys' first year under Zach Arnett, and obviously it is going to be an emotional year, I'm sure, every single week out. But obviously coming off of a big win in the bowl game last year, and that's going to propel you guys to a great year in a very wide open SEC West that anybody can win. So why not you, right?
Mm-hmm. Why not us?
And we appreciate you taking some time with us today, man.
No problem.
Thank you, Woody.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will break down the Mississippi State schedule and more right after this.
When it comes to your freedom, don't take chances. Jeff Grimes is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Tennessee. With over 25 years of experience, Jeff has successfully defended countless cases, from homicide to DUI. As a decorated Army veteran, he's professional, prepared, and ready to fight for you. Highly recommended by his clients, he's the lawyer you want on your side. Call Jeff Grimes and Associates today to schedule a free initial consultation.
Welcome back into Main Street Sports Day exclusive coverage of SEC football. Media Days kickoff event from the Grand Hyatt in downtown Nashville. We are so excited to be with you guys here. Man, Woody Marks, great kid, great running back.
Enjoyed
looking forward
that.
to seeing him and looking forward to Mississippi State's season this year. Guys, Mississippi State's they've got a tough road to hoe coming off of obviously a
devastating
loss and difficult ending to their season.
I mean, I just don't know how you deal with something like that. It's kind of inexplicable. There's just no words for losing your coach in the middle of the season like that, or losing your coach at all.
Right.
And, they were able to rally for that bowl game win last year, but I'm kind of with you guys. It's really going to be a true testament to that program and their character to how they rebound this year, because it's going to be such an emotional season, especially for a team that is a little inexperienced. They come in just 12 returning starters.
But four of those are on the offensive line, which is going to be
and another one's a quarterback.
That helps. I was going to say, and you got Will Rogers still lurking in the mix too. So that is the good news. But, man, it is going to be a very, very emotional year in Starkville, to say the least.
Yeah, no question. They get Southeast Louisiana to start the year. Arizona at home, which seems like it should be a win.
That'd be a fun game.
And then
that's a little different.
That's a unique one, a little Pac-12 SEC action there.
The Kevin Sumlin Appreciation Bowl, we'll call that one.
Yeah,
there you go. And LSU comes to Mississippi State in week 3, and that's going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff. Last time we saw LSU in an 11 a.m. kickoff, it didn't go so well.
It didn't go so
Bayou
well
Bengals.
for the Tigers. Yeah, so
So who knows? And then they got to go to South Carolina, get Alabama at home, got to go to Arkansas. That's a tough one, and Auburn, and A&M. That's a tough road schedule.
Dare I say brutal?
I mean, I would say that.
they do finish at home against Southern Miss and Ole Miss.
They do get Ole Miss at home in the Egg Bowl.
And we didn't get to ask Woody about the Egg Bowl, but that is one, and obviously we're months and months away, but Vegas says that's basically a toss-up. Mississippi State about a 1.5 underdog at home. That's one that it doesn't matter what happens record-wise coming into it. Expect the unexpected, I feel like.
Never a dull moment in the Egg Bowl.
No,
Never.
Never a dull
Must see TV.
Is this team bowl eligible? Southeast Louisiana, Arizona, I got them with a win. Western Michigan.
That's 3.
Do they beat Kentucky at home?
That's tough coming off those 2 games versus Arkansas and Auburn. Other than that, I would say yes.
I think it's a toss-up just for the fact that I don't know how good Kentucky is.
100%. That's where I was going with that. I don't know enough about Kentucky just yet to not give Mississippi State the edge just being at home. And so, to me, that is a slight lean toward the Bulldogs.
And that in terms of bowl eligible, assuming that they win all 4 of their non-conference, which, again, they've got Southern Miss in the next to last game of the year, they've still got to win 2 SEC games somewhere. Kentucky's almost got to be one of those.
Kentucky's got to be one, and
Ole Miss.
I mean, Ole Miss or South Carolina, Auburn. I mean, I think Auburn's a winnable game. I just don't know enough about Auburn. Of course, they're here. We'll talk to them.
Yeah, we hope to know more before the day is over.
But right now, I don't know a whole lot.
To me, that Auburn game, that's one that you're catching them in late October. We will know firmly who Auburn is
And that's
or isn't by then, in my opinion.
And those two games are back-to-back for Mississippi State. So that stretch is probably their bowl-eligible stretch.
Auburn and Kentucky. At Auburn.
At Auburn and
Kentucky.
home in Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see.
And then you could be sitting there with the Egg Bowl just hanging in the balance.
Oh,
to
what if
swing
you're
things.
5-6 going into the Egg Bowl?
And you got to win it
Yeah.
at home.
So
should be interesting. That's going to do it for our SEC coverage from Mississippi State. Again, that is brought to you by Jeff Grimes and Associates in Clarksville.
In Clarksville and throughout Middle Tennessee, Jeff Grimes and Associates have successfully represented thousands of clients in criminal and family law matters. With over 40 years of combined professional experience, Jeff Grimes and Associates have the tools and resources to fight for you in getting the best result possible. So whether you're facing a troubling criminal case or a difficult family matter, they will walk with you every step of the way and make sure your litigation process is as effortless as possible. So don't hesitate. Call Jeff Grimes and Associates today at 931-906-0088 for a free consultation and learn how they can protect your rights and protect your family.
All right, that's going to do it for this. Again, Main Street Sports Today, 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. So make sure to join us here at SEC Media Days. We'll talk to you later.